how's it going? Okay, so I've woken up with a little bit of inspiration to make some of, well, if you've ever watched any of my other cooking videos before, it's totally random. It's like whatever ingredients I have in the house, and like when I have a craving for usually something sweet for me, because I'm pretty much vegan. I'm not like a hardcore radical strict vegan, so like if I'm at someone's house and they've cooked something and it has cheese or eggs in it. Fortunately, I do live in the countrysides, and most people I do eat with are aware that I am, difficult eater or whatever, and so they will make vegetarian definitely for me. And I'm really lucky because the only really few places I go out to eat, they all have free range, like for real free range chicken. So if they do make something with eggs in it, I know that I'm getting like the real deal eggs, or not eggs, sorry, but like chickens who run around freely in the field. So I'm usually okay with eating those kind of eggs. I would, however, going out to a restaurant or something, probably avoid eating anything with eggs because I don't like the idea of chickens being sort of caged, really. And I know that even when they say sort of free range on some packaging, that's questionable how free they actually are. So I've made some sort of chocolate muffins, I guess. Chocolate almond muffins. Now these are vegan and they're made with, I guess they're gluten-free as well. Well, there's some oats in there, and I don't think the oats are like super gluten-free, but there's not a lot of oats. So it's vegan, and it's made with the main, yeah, they're good. The main flour kind of content or bit is made with almond flour. And almond flour is a really nice replacement, and it's super yummy, like tasty, so it's good. So what did I do to make these gorgeous things this morning? I put in almond flour, I put in some oats, I put in some coconut yogurt, which they're now selling in Sainsbury's and Tesco's and stuff. Now, this is so good. Coconut is like a miracle food, and it seems to be coming out more and more in like every kind of form. So this coconut yogurt stuff, it's like Cocoa, the company. It's so good. Actually, let me show you because I want to share the joy. It's like super creamy, blissful delightfulness. Can you see that? So it's pure coconut, coconut milk yogurt. It's deliciously creamy, and coconut like is so good for you. I often, if I've had like a bit of a savory meal or something, it's so delightful because it's really cleansing for the palate, and I feel like it's sort of almost like having a big glass of water or something, and very cooling. So if you've had some spicy food or had something a bit salty, this stuff is a fantastic kind of thing to have after to kind of wash it down. Okay, so I'm just putting my next batch of muffins in, and let me continue. So almond flour, oats, cocoa powder, raw cocoa powder. I've put in obviously the coconut yogurt, a full pack of it. As you know, I never really measure anything, it's all free flow. I've put almond essence in here to make it more almondy, like almond and chocolate I think is a good flavor combo. And then what was the binding? Oh yeah, and I put some dates, some chopped dates in here for some sweet chewy goodness. And my the binding ingredient was, I basically have frozen like bananas in the freezer, and I melted coconut oil with my frozen bananas, so I got those all like soft basically, and a little bit of hemp milk. Oh, and also a little bit of honey and a little bit of maple syrup, because my main thing, and if some of you are like me and like kind of exploring baking but just kind of like free flow it and do whatevs, then my issue with the last couple bakes that I've made is, to be honest, that it just hasn't been sweet enough. I think it's something, if you're gonna go vegan or gluten-free, or if you're gonna start like, you know, changing your diet where you basically just are not going to be eating any of like shop food anymore, or certainly not like, you know, cakes and brownies and cookies from Tesco's or whatever. And I don't, where I live in Devon, like it's pretty remote, so there isn't like yet there aren't really any cafes that that make like gluten-free and vegan cake. Now, if I were to go to like Glastonbury or London, obviously, like Brick Lane or something like that in London, I could definitely go to a cafe, and like most kind of like hippie vibe cafes now are like trendy cafes, so that's it. Ding! I'm gonna put them back in the oven. Most hippie style cafes have vegan cake. So that's my real treat when I go to London or I go to a different town and I find a kind of hippie style cafe. I'll always like load up and get like 3 or 4 cases or 3 or 4 pieces of vegan cake, different flavors, because I'm not like a massive cook or baker or anything like that. This is literally like just for fun and to spice up my YouTube channel and to give you a sense of me and like how I'll randomly just get inspired to bake stuff. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And also just share with you like what I'm eating. And I know more and more like it would just seem that more and more people's bodies are not agreeing with wheat and gluten. And obviously I think that has something to do with this Monsanto company and the fact that over the years we have really been tampering with the genetic structure of our daily foods, and because we've been tampering with it over time, slowly but surely our bodies are reacting adversely to these substances. And I'm actually not gluten intolerant. Like if I have a pita or a piece of bread or tortilla or something like that, I can digest it. I'm in Ayurveda. If you know anything about Ayurveda, I'm a pitta, so I'm very fiery. So that means that I have like really, really good and strong digestion. So I can definitely burn up a bit of gluten or a bit of dairy. But it's really just like my sort of connection to spirit that I naturally, for whatever reason, am not being called to eat those foods. So I just don't have a desire to like have a sandwich or something. I love having rice noodles. Rice noodles are cool. They come in like individual little like sort of balls, if you will, the balls of the packed rice noodles. So you just like put, you know exactly how much you're getting, and it's like a nice portion. And these rice noodles are literally just rice and water. I'm sure the ingredient, oh yeah, rice flour, and water. That's the only ingredient. So I feel really comfortable eating lots of rice and vegetables and fruit and nuts. I eat really, really simple diet. I love potatoes. So I eat lots of like baked potatoes, and sometimes if I feel like having chips, or if you're American or Canadian, people in the UK call French fries chips. And yeah, lots of steamed veg. I'm not raw, although I'd really love to go to like a raw retreat, and I have a friend up in Cheltenham who she does raw food, so I'm really looking forward to at some point in the near future hosting a raw food and sort of yoga and health retreat with Tracy, basically just to kind of get some good ideas for baking when you know what you're eating. And I think that's what's more vital for me around food. So I've worked through a lot of body image issues, and I don't really think now anymore about like what's fat or you know, what's good or bad. I literally just listen to my body and kind of feel out what I want. And what's happening naturally is just like, I just want to know what's in my food. Hence why I'll bake, if I feel like I'm getting a sweet tooth, I'll bake something for myself. That is a real chocolatey, sort of hearty mix. You know, there's no egg in here. Coconut milk or coconut oil, banana. Those are the binding agents. And that yogurt. Yeah. So that's why I eat really simply. I tend not to have like takeaways or anything like that, as I don't know what they've been frying their food in. I don't know how they've prepared or made their like veggie burgers and that kind of stuff. I just feel better in my body when I know what I'm eating, and I'm happy to go out for dinner and, you know, try stuff. And I think when it comes to eating food, preparing food, enjoying food, something at A-Fest that really kind of hit home was that there were a couple really awesome people there who, they would like sort of pray over their food. Now, I grew up Catholic, and we grew up saying a prayer before every meal. But at that time of my life, we kind of at some point felt like it was a nuisance, like, oh, I don't want to do that. And didn't fully like understand what that was all about. And now I do. Now it's like about love and gratitude and really loving and appreciating our food. And as we know, if we're all vibing, if we're all like on a certain frequency, and some food comes into my reality that I'm expected to eat, I kind of want to spend a little bit of time, you know, like you could just do something like this, like putting your hands over it and really blessing and loving the food. And I'll tell you what, like more and more, that really, really makes a difference. Like, I can feel food that has been loved and nourished. And then on the flip side, I can usually feel density with food, or somebody who really doesn't like preparing food or has a lot of anxiety around preparing food for a group of people. I can usually feel density in that food. Again, I think it's part of the anxiety and stuff. So taking time just to bless and love your food before eating it can go a long way for helping your body to be able to digest it, whatever it is. So it might be a piece of chocolate cake, it might be a brownie, it might be an apple or a salad. It doesn't really matter what the food is, but if you take time to really love it and bless it before you consume it, your body will actually be able to digest it and process it a lot better, and you'll feel better for it as well. So that's all taking our food consumption and our social responsibility to that next level. And again, all of our conscious choices as human beings on this planet, that's what's going to shift any perceived darkness or like sort of insidious fear-based realities, like corporations owning all of the food resources. Most of us sort of, you know, on the cusp and really awakening to some of these, or seeing through some of these illusions, recognize this is not necessarily a great thing. We as people want to really have a lot more control over the food that we eat. And I know here there's some cool projects, the Whole Life Project, and people with allotments, and I saw a cool article on Facebook yesterday about urban growing areas, like parks in cities that are actually growing food for that neighborhood. And not only is it like obviously healthier, but of course it's better for the planet, and the planet is getting really tired of being sprayed with chemicals and pesticides and being overworked, and like animals being mass produced and farmed and then mass slaughtered and stuff. This is not nice. And most of us, if we really, really look inward and we face that within us, you know, like if you're really honest with yourself about how you feel about eating meat, and if you can face the fact that the meat that you're eating is being kind of treated brutally and barbarically and then slaughtered, inwardly, if you make that shift, it's not like you're gonna miss it. You'll naturally just not want to consume it. That's what happens when we make a shift within us. Then our external reality changes. It doesn't become hard to eat healthy. It doesn't become hard necessarily to make changes. It's just a natural part of awakening. But as I say that, well, as we awaken, oftentimes, and as we face our fears, just before we're able to really make those conscious choices, what happens, and in my experience, is that I undergo a sort of emotional storm. So those fears, burdens, guilt, shame, that rises to the surface, and I have to transmute that energy. And I've talked about this before. So it means feeling the pain. It means forgiving myself for creating a life situation that has caused me pain or has caused other beings pain, i.e. animals. So know that it's all part of the process. Sometimes things appear worse before they get better, and that's all going on in the whole world as we're seeing it and experiencing it today. So a lot of things in our own society are going to continue to appear like they're getting worse, but I hope you can all understand that it's all part of this mass awakening and spiritual growth that we're all undergoing as human beings on this planet. And I always want to reiterate, it's not about burying your head in the sand, but it's about being part of a positive vibrational movement on this planet. So really committing to love, compassion, and doing all that you can for your own self. To breed and really harness those positive emotions, and know that life is only going to get better and better. Okay, yeah, we have ups and downs. It's like that. It's always going up, but within the upward slope, there are kind of plateaus or feeling like we're going down, which again is just part of transmuting a next layer of negative or darker frequencies within us. So this is all positive. I hope that you also go and enjoy some creative, free-flowing baking. Just put in some ingredients. Now, just from my own experience, if you're baking something, make sure you put enough sweet stuff in it. Make sure you put enough honey and maybe agave or maple syrup or whatever, or maybe molasses or something like that. Or palm sugar, that's another one. That's another really good one. It's like coconut sugar or something that you can buy in some health food stores. A really great replacement for sugar. And again, it's all natural stuff. It's not refined, and it's not sort of been chemically tampered with in a lab by some people. So it's all sort of just raw, natural, good food. And again, if we're all raw, natural too, our bodies are going to handle that stuff better and have fun with it. But I'd say if you are baking, yeah, make sure you put enough sweet stuff in, because that's been my issue the last sort of few months. All the stuff that I've been baking has been like, I'll still eat it. I still eat it, and instead of, it's not sweet enough, but I'll randomly like drizzle agave on it. But that's not as good as actually making like a nice muffin. That's what you want. So I hope you've enjoyed. There's been a really amazing shift within, and that continues within the last few years, but I'm stepping up again, so I feel like there's even more positive shifts. I'm going to continue to make more videos. This is now my career choice. So as some of you know, I've stopped doing a lot of yoga classes, and I'm actually letting go of a few other places where I teach yoga, so that I can just focus on sharing my own message and building my All to Love organization, so that I can bring All to Love to more people, more communities, and really share the message of healing from within, connecting to spirit, so that we can make the world a better place, and actually really, really deeply and truly begin to love our lives. I was working on my website and I made a vlog last night, and I was up till like 1 o'clock, randomly woke up at like 5 o'clock this morning, like super energized. And that's the shift, is that I think that's actually how it's meant to be. We're meant to, like, you know, when you're little and you're like, you want to wake up every day and like go play, and like there's really important play stuff to do. And that's kind of what life is starting to feel like again for me, which is so cool. Having gone through loads of like hating life, and now like coming back as a 33-year-old woman and actually starting to feel like that again. Like, oh my God, what can I do today? How can I live life? How can I share love? How can I invite abundance into my life? So I think I'm gonna go meditate, and maybe wait around for my next batch of muffins to finish. Try not to eat the whole batch today. That will be 12 muffins. I wouldn't be surprised if I eat maybe 3 or 4, but that's okay. We're who we are. And you have no idea how grateful I am every day that I'm not like obsessed with my body in a negative way. And I feel like genuinely like I can eat whatever I want, and I do. And I love my body. And that's a good place to get to. Like, genuinely, like, I like it. I like living in it. I like feeling it. And I'm working on this Unlimited Abundance course with Christy Mary Sheldon, which is also very exciting because it means I'm opening myself up in a really big way to receive abundance like I've always desired, but probably been too afraid to actually attract into my life. Because I recognize that this work that I feel and this love that I feel within, it needs to be shared. I'm not meant to just like hoard it all. I'm meant to share it. And YouTube and doing public speaking and all that kind of stuff, this is where I'm at now, and this is what I want to do. So feel free to check out my website. I can take bookings. I do like spiritual consultancy work, so I can help on a spiritual level uplift your business. I can help you de-stress and just work with people to really transform their lives, and maybe share some food some food ideas and some food recipes. And I know that people I'm working with, maybe I'll do yoga with them one day, or maybe we'll you know, look at their food on another day, or maybe encourage them to declutter their house. So it's really, really broad, and I can be available for like sort of 3 or 4 day intensives if that's what you require, or you might want to work with me for a full year. And so in that respect, we'd look at kind of a yearly payment plan of like, what's your budget, what can you afford, and what suits me, because what I recognize is this work is of really high value, and I'm no longer going to underestimate my own value. But I'm not going to pinch people off either. If I recognize some people will have lots of abundance to share, lots of money, other people that will be something they want to work on. So obviously their pricing plan will be a lot lower. But all of this feels really, really good to me. I'm super excited to be alive, and to be who I am, and to be sharing my message. Oh, and also, I'm changing my name to Willow. I know. I never expected to change my name. I actually still love the name Molly, but again, it's like a spiritual thing. It's a new phase of my life. It's a new beginning, and I feel like Molly Jane Robertson has basically lived out her life, and my new life, like, it's almost like I've been reincarnated. I feel like a completely different person from the person I was even 6 months ago. So my new life, I'm Willow Elizabeth Dawn. It'll change over time. I'm not gonna go and do it all legally right away because I can't be bothered. But I should think that probably within the next year or so, I'll be changing my name on Facebook, and I'll be doing all my document changes and all that kind of stuff. And so my new name is Willow Elizabeth Dawn. I hope you like it, and I hope you enjoy being creative in the kitchen and cooking stuff that you love, and cooking food that your body will love as well. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste, everybody.
All to love.
Have a great day. Bye.
All to love.